So we're about a week out from the Yankees no longer playing, right? And I want to take a few days to digest it and kind of recalibrate and wait and see how some of the playoffs are unfolding here. Obviously, the Seattle Mariners are up 2-0 on the Blue Jays, and the Dodgers are still, I think, leading the Brewers 1-0 in Game 1 of the NLCS, right? So this is the thing of playoff baseball. Hot teams get cold, cold teams get hot. So we never really know what's going to happen, right? And did we think the Blue Jays were going to run through the Mariners? The Mariners have deep pitching. The Blue Jays have deep bats, right? And generally, good pitching tends to beat good hitting. Shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. So that's just playoff baseball, right? So it's like what's fascinating about it, what's frustrating about it, you never really know. But again, and if you think about it, all the final four teams that are in are all division winners. All the teams that have won divisions are still in. So it's kind of set up the way it kind of should be, right? But focusing on our team, the Yankees, like there are suggestions that it's going to be quiet this offseason. There's suggestions that it should be bold. That's going to be crazy. I don't know. I mean, I think it's one thing that's important to keep in mind is at the end of the CBA ends after next season. So there's going to be a lot of uncertainty as to the market and finances and so on and so forth. So does that dictate the Yankees kind of blueprint for this offseason? Does that dictate whether they're going to be aggressive or not, right? I have no idea. No idea. So in that regard, I'm thinking of how can we get better without gutting, just absolutely obliterating the finances. But keep in mind, too, we have like $80 million coming off the books, too. So the Yankees are in a position to spend. They really, really are. So now let's take it piece by piece here. Bellinger, right? He's opting out. Do we bring him back? Or do we bring do we go after Kyle Tucker? Or do we pursue a different route, right? I think part of it's going to depend on whether Aaron Judge needs some type of surgery on his elbow, right? So, and I think that's going to be part of how we pursue this offseason. And I gave some, if you don't know if you saw, I put out a video early, and I'm going to recap it to you guys. Some critical dates this offseason, okay? Once the World Series is over, whatever day that is, 5 days after that is when free agency begins, okay, officially. So arbitration players who are officially free agents become free agents. People whose contracts end become free agents, and so on and so forth. So 5 days after the last game of the World Series is the first important day. And then November 11th to the 13th, you have the GM meetings, which is taking place in Las Vegas, okay? And the 18th to the 20th, you have the owners' meetings, which takes place in New York City, which is usually around MLB headquarters. Then on the 18th, that's the deadline to accept qualifying offers for players. So that's right around the corner as well. And we'll know who gets a QO, who doesn't get a QO. Then you have the 21st of November, which is the tender deadline. And this is mostly for arbitration players, right? And for those that don't know, like tender, in arbitration particularly, you can tender somebody a contract, you can non-tender somebody a contract. Meaning, if you don't want them to come back, you can non-tender them a contract. You don't have to pay them anything. They just let them walk in free agency. As opposed to when you sign a free agent contract and it's guaranteed from day one to the last day of the contract, no matter what you do. You could release a player, you still have to pay his entire contract, and so on. Non-tendering is the only time the teams have an opportunity to walk away from a player without having to pay him. Okay? That's mostly arbitration players. So, and we'll get an idea of who could be added to free agency if arbitration players don't get non-tender by their teams, because the free agent list will grow, right? So we'll get some more idea. And that's right before the winter meetings. The winter meetings is December 8th to December 11th. Okay? That's, I think, in Florida. And then the 9th of that week, December 9th, is the draft lottery. And December 11th is the Rule 5 draft. Now, I'm going to be working on a video with Jonathan. We're going to go over everything when it comes to Rule 5 draft as it pertains to the Yankees, right? Who we absolutely need to protect, who we can probably leave exposed, who we might be able to get value in a trade. There's a bunch of players that the Yankees would be wise to either protect or trade in the coming weeks before the Rule 5 draft, which is, again, December 10th. So it's less than 2 months away. So Yankees could be making moves before that, right? I haven't heard Tucker doesn't want to play here, Coach Carl. Where did you hear that? Who's saying that? Oh, Ward Lifer? I don't know about that. I mean, Tucker, I think, he's gonna go for the pay. He's gonna go for the bag. I did see that, Ray, bounce off the wall. Yeah, yeah. They're known as one of the best defensive team in baseball, so I'm not surprised. Really not surprised. But what theoretically do you think the Yankees can get for Cody Bellinger? Let's just stick with the outfield for now, right? And keep in mind too, if somehow lose Bellinger and Grisham in the same offseason, let's just say, there's no way they're going to go with Jones and Dominguez in the outfield. They're just going to lose 60 homer. There's no way they're going to do that. So they will do something. They'll sign somebody or make a trade for somebody if that happens, right? So that I can see no matter what. And keep in mind too, Grisham's salary and Bellinger's salary, combine that together, that's like 30-something million bucks, or right around 30 million bucks coming off, right? And then you have Goldschmidt's 12.5 coming off, 42, and then the Marlins are going to be paying 10 million or so of Stanton contracts, so we can take 10 million off of that. And then you've got Aaron Hicks's 10 million coming off of that. Now we're in the 60s, right? So like that, it's going to be pretty quickly. I think Tucker to Phillies makes sense if they don't re-sign Kyle Schwarber, and I would be shocked if they don't re-sign Kyle Schwarber. I would be absolutely shocked, right? Well, yeah. Well, no, the owner of the Houston Astros didn't want to trade with the Yankees. He didn't want to deal with the Yankees owner. I don't remember them. No, there's no there's no salary cap at all in baseball. First, there's no salary cap at all in baseball. Yeah. That's a point of contention in the next CBA because owners want a salary cap, and the union does not, right? I know. I mean, I'm more in favor of a salary floor. So, yeah. I mean, if they got Tucker and Brush Schwarber back, they'd have to trade Castellanos. Yeah, they'd have to trade Castellanos. I think Harrison Bader's a free agent, right? I think Max Kepler is probably a free agent too. So, I wouldn't mind seeing Bryce Harper go to the outfield and them signing Pete Alonso to stick it to the Mets. Bo Bichette, if the Yankees, one of the things that I said recently is that the Yankees need to make a decision on shortstop, right? Are they going to stick with Volpe, or are they going to turn into a competition between Volpe and Caballero? Or are they going to trade for a shortstop or sign a shortstop and non-tender Volpe if they can't trade him? What's it going to be? Well, at this point, we need more clarity as to what they're going to do in terms of Anthony Volpe. So JT Realmuto is a free agent, and I wouldn't mind the right-handed catcher here to compete with Austin Wells. I wouldn't mind it at all. No. Exactly. Boba no. And that's, yeah. Well, his offensive metrics are better than Volpe's are, but his defensive metrics are worse. So that's just what you get what you get, right? The Yankees can trade Wells easier than can trade Volpe. Volpe might need surgery this offseason, so we just don't know. right? We just don't know. But again, they don't. If they can't trade Anthony Volpe, remember they can non-tender him. He's an arbitration player. They don't need to bring him back if they want to move on from him, right? So yeah, metrics. That's why I don't really obsess over metrics. See, they said Jeter was a bad shot. He's in the freaking Hall of Fame, right? So yeah, yeah. Well, that's the outfield component, right? And what if they can get somebody like Brendan Donovan from the Cardinals and play him at shortstop? And then if they don't plan on re-signing Jazz after this year, then they can move Donovan over to second when George Lombard's ready to play short. And then they have a much more like kind of a what do you call it? Blue collar type feisty infield. So I like that. And keep in mind, they drafted a bunch of shortstops too. Dax Kilby, Keenan Kent. So they've got guys with some more promising bunch of infield prospects that they drafted. I've seen since George Lombard. So, mhm. They still have Oswaldo Cabrera too. Yeah, Volpe would likely be if somebody if you want somebody to take Volpe, you're going to have to add Luis Hill, or you're going to have to add something like that as a filler to a contract, or you're going to have to let's just say you want a good player from another team, you might have to take a bad contract in return, right? There you go. What's going on? So really, it's going to boil down to what the Yankees. And like I said, I think it's some of this is going to boil down to whether Judge needs surgery, whether Volpe needs surgery. They'll have more clarity on their off-season plan, right? Yep. Yeah, I'm not sure Chisholm will get a contract, especially since they have so many promising young infielders not far away. You know, I would have trouble doing that. I do think they're gonna move on from him after 2026, unless he has another 30-30 season, something like that. So he makes it really hard for him to move on from him. So, but we'll see. And then that's the infield puzzle right now. Like, and what do you do at first base? Is the plan going to be Ben Rice at first base, right? And if Ben Rice is at first base, then Austin Wells is probably going to be at the dish, right? And as much as I like JC Escara, I'd love to bring in somebody like JT Realmuto to push Austin Wells to be better and get a good, solid veteran here who hits from the right-handed side behind the dish. Yeah, I'd love that. So yeah, teams are showing interest in Ben Rice, and exactly. I mean, what can you get for Ben Rice in a trade? Can you get pitching for him? Can you get a really, really, really good reliever, right? With controllable years for Ben Rice, high end reliever, right? I don't know. I don't know. And then if you do move Ben Rice, first base is open. Maybe at that point, then they look at Munetaka Murakami from Japan, or Pete Alonso, or even Josh Naylor from the Mariners, who's going to be in the playoffs as well. Well, both of their catchers are lefty, Coach Carl. I think the sentiment is that they want to have one righty to complement the lefty. Escara's a lefty batter, so I understand that balance too. I can understand that. So, but there's another player. His name is see if I can pronounce it right. Kazuma Okamoto from Japan. Also, he's also a first base, third base type like Murakami, just not. I don't think he would be as expensive. I think he's 28 or 29 years old. As a righty batted 322 this year, 411 on base, 582 slugging, 992 OPS. So 15 homers, 51 ribbies, 23 doubles. He's an all-around solid contact player from the righty side. Could he be somebody that they could bring in as well? He could be a bench player, right? Something like that. These are some under-the-radar players. I think bringing a veteran pitcher in would be a good idea too, to put to be at the 5 spot. So yeah, if Judge has surgery on his elbow, he probably won't be in the World Baseball Classic. So, and I guess if that's one of the things we'll get clarity on. If he's playing in the World Baseball Classic, he's probably not getting surgery then, because he's not gonna jeopardize his season just to play in the World Baseball Classic. He doesn't get paid for the World Baseball Classic. He gets paid to play for the Yankees. So, yeah. Who's the Japanese player? Right, solid glove. A lot of the Japanese players, they're fundamentally sound players, offensively or pitching or defensively. They're fundamentally very, very sound players. Then you have, what's his name? Tatsuya Imai, who's a left-handed pitcher, also from Japan. 189 Ks this year and 173 innings pitched, 37 walks. It's got like a 5-to-1 K to walk ratio. That's pretty darn good. 10-5 with a 1.92 ERA, and pretty darn good. So he might be a guy that, and apparently he's getting posted. So is Kazuma Komoto. So aside from Munetaka Murakami, these guys are apparently getting posted too. So, and if for some reason the Yankees wind up trading Rice for, let's just say, for pitching, because I don't know why you would trade him for anything else, then I would expect him to be aggressive after one of these guys, or Josh Naylor or something like that, or even Pete Alonso. So. No doubt about it. I mean, we get what we can from the offensive department. Fundamentally sound player who can play regularly or on the bench, just like Hyun Kim from the Dodgers. They brought him over from Korea. Low key, but he's been a solid contributor for the Dodgers. Obi-Wan Kenobi's got to be the leadoff Jake Boss. They got to offer that dude a contract, man. Obi-Wan. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. And again, what type of direction the Yankees go in. They have a lot of money coming off the books. Are they going to spend most of it or some of it? Right? Are they going to be more aggressive in trades or free agency or a little bit of both? I think they can do both, in all honesty. What's what we're hearing, Carl? Japanese Babe Ruth. That's Munetaka Murakami. Yeah, he's got legitimate power on the lefty side. And he's young. He's like 26 years old. So, and he's not going to cost $300 million like the Japanese pitchers do. No. We will, we'll see. Yeah. It's good. Yeah, exactly, Jake Boss. I mean, there's a kind of painting with a broad brush to see, because there's a lot of areas that the Yankees can kind of dip their toes into. I'm wondering if they're going to go heavy in a certain area and light in a certain area. Hey. Bullpen is an area they need to be aggressive in. And do they use players like Jason Dominguez and Luis Hill or Ben Rice, something like that, to get a good reliever? Like, I'm not going to trade big pieces like that unless I'm going after Mason Miller, who was just traded to the Padres, or Manuel Clase, right? But I don't even know how many years he has left on his contract, or Andres Munoz. But he's likely going to be a free agent if he opts out. He's got a bunch of options, but again, like, I think they're mutual options, or maybe they're team options. But why would a team not exercise this option? Would a closer that good? They'd be nuts. Murakami's a lefty, Coach Kong. By the way, great job at Eastern States. It's great work. You have 513. That's quality stuff. Freed's not going anywhere. Freed's not going anywhere. Yeah, it's like 100 million in the next 2 years, Jeremiah. It's like 80 this year, and then another 20 or so the following year, because DJ's money comes off the book after next year, and then some other folks come off the book too. So they got a lot. It's at least 80 this year. His defense is at first. His defense at first, big sports fan, is better than his defense at third. So my guess is he would more likely profile as a first baseman, at least for the Yankees, if that position became open. Yeah. But imagine you resign Bellinger, you add Murakami and Kwan too. Like, I mean, that'd be kind of nuts if you can trade for Kwan and bring in Murakami. That's a lot. That's a lot of lefties there too. But imagine having more Kwan leading off, and then like Bellinger and Judge and some of these other guys, and yeah, Phillies offseason's got to start with them re-signing Kyle Schwarber. But yeah, Ranger Suarez is a free agent. JT Realmuto's a free agent, so they're gonna lose a couple players, I think. We'll see, Coach Cole. Like, we'll see about Cole. I mean, I'm using Verlander as an example because when he came back from Tommy John, he was 37 years old, and he won the Cy Young Award the year he came back. And if anybody can do something similar, it'd be Garrett Cole. We don't know if Judge is having surgery yet. We don't know if Volpe's having surgery yet. But I think the likeliness of Volpe is probably higher than the likeliness of Judge having surgery. Right? So, and this is why, I mentioned certain guys like Brandon Donovan, some of these like Stephen Kwan. These guys, offer plate discipline, right? And I think it'll be something needs to be a priority for the Yankees this offseason. Orlando probably will. Tigers, I mean, they got to add another starter. I mean, they might lose Flaherty. They could lose Gleyber Torres too. So Tigers need to make a decision on those two guys. And Scuba's only got 1 year left. So, yeah. Would I be for his metrics kind of scream to be good here. I don't know if I'd want to pay him $10 to $15 million more per year than Bellinger. I don't know about that, but if we lost to Bellinger and Grisham, I would be heavy after Tucker. If we lost both of them, I'm not sure if Schmidt's coming back this year. Cole is. Schmidt might not be here until 2027. But yeah, they trying to do. Major Maris fan. Yeah, we're on life, right? Well, look at the way they treated some of the Yankees. But again, to their, to the other side too. Look at the way some of the Yankees fans treated the family members of the players that play for, the Jays. So it goes both ways there too. Yeah. Did the Falcons beat the Bills? Wow, dude. Dang. He's a good defender, yes, in the outfield. But then so is Spencer Jones. Jones is elite with the glove in the outfield. You do Tucker and Spencer Jones. Let's go Jets, Brian. You're on my 0-6 Jets. That's right. But that, like, to me, is the first part of the blueprint for the Yankees. Like, what's going to be their game plan? And I know it kind of evolves with Brian Cashman. He waits until opportunities present themselves and it just strikes. I get it. But, like, of the things that are obvious things, I think Bellinger's probably obvious. I think adding a right-handed bat behind home plate is an obvious thing. And adding at least 2 relievers, maybe 3. I would consider bringing back Devin Williams. As long as he is okay throwing the 7th to the 8th. I would bring back Devin Williams. If you can get him on a decent deal. Happy Columbus Day, too. Stroman's money comes off the book, too. That option's not getting triggered for $18 million, so. Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of my most basic part. I mean, I'm going to do my Yankees off-season predictions, who stays, who goes, my MLB free agent predictions, my MLB off-season predictions, mostly trades. I'm working on all that stuff right now. So Get ready. If somebody's in here that's not subscribed, make sure you do that right now, please. And just turn on your notifications. That way you'll know when I go live with these videos. I'd love for you to come in and join, have ask questions and be heard and so on. I'm a starter home. Wait, what did I miss here? Marcus Stroman. Yeah, relievers. I mean, if you could pick up one in free agency, one in a trade, and then decide on Devin Williams. Like we have Jake Bird coming back too next year, so full strength. I think it really depends. Like if the Yankees go all signings, then what makes more sense? Like trying to get Bo and Alonso, and then sticking with Jones and Dominguez, or there's really nobody in the outfield aside from Tucker. Would you go maybe Tucker and Alonso, or Tucker and Bo? Like, could you see the Yankees getting two of those guys, and then just going with what they have with the young guys? Can that work? I don't know. Yeah, his spray chart is good over Yankee Stadium. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I think I know he's gonna get shopped this offseason if helps. Dominguez is gonna get shopped this offseason, most likely for pitching. We'll see if he, you know, goes in trade for somebody good. Like I'm not in favor of trading him unless we're getting somebody good in return. Not just trading for some slapdick player. So well, that's the other thing too, Jonathan. Yep. The numbers show like his stats are not necessarily being upgraded over Bellinger, but the metrics favor Tucker. But like how much you're going to rely on metrics, right? Yeah, well, Hicks and Stroman come off the books this year, and DJ comes off the books next year. Thankfully, we got Spencer Jones, and we got a couple other outfielders who are not that far away too. So next Matsui, I mean, he could be. You never know. Yankees have expressed interest. I know they're going to pursue him. They'll probably offer him a contract. So, but I mean, you got to win he has to take your post. So you got to win the posting first because he is getting posted. So, DJ's been released. He's not in the Yankees at all. So is Marcus Stroman. They're gone completely. Do I think the Tigers would trade School? I think they would listen because he's 1 year away, and you don't know whether they're going to be able to re-sign him with a new CBA. So if a team's willing to give them what they want and give School a big extension on top of it to kind of get ahead of the CBA thing, then I could see something like that. Well, you know you're going to give up a king's ransom for him. You're going to give up the motherload for him. So, and know that ahead of time, just like Skeens, you're going to give up the motherload for Skeens too. Like there's no chance you're going to get either one of them without giving up, a king's share of the prospects. Yeah. Same to you, Beagle. Yeah, things are just like quietly. There's a rumor out there today that the Yankees are going to trade for Emmanuel Clase. Like you never really know what to believe right now. And I definitely don't believe the crap that's being put on Facebook. Derek Jeter's coming back as the head coach. When the hell was he head coach before? How is he coming back as head coach? And second of all, there are no head coaches in baseball. It's managers. It's like these are the types of ridiculous posts that people are putting up on Facebook. Yeah. I wish the Yankees were in the ALCS too. Would I ransoms for? I might be leaning towards Scuba right now, right? But I really like what I see from Skeens. I mean, I would love to have both, but like that's fantasy land. So yeah, Matsui, Tanaka, they both came from Japan. Yep. So did Keigawa and Hiroki Kuroda. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, the best right-handed catcher that I can think of seeing is JT Realmuto. There's a couple of catchers from the Cardinals that they might be willing to trade from their depth. So Shea Langolier, I remember him. Yeah, Hiroki Kuroda. That's right. In like the '90s, pitching for the Yankees. He left the Dodgers and he came over to pitch Yankees for a couple years. He was good. I really liked him. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, Japanese players, the guys that really put forth those stats, they generally come here and they play well. They play well, so that's good. Show high for Angels. Still 1-0. Oh my goodness, in the top of the ninth, Dodgers. Toroki was in 1-0. Blake Snell threw 8 innings of one hit ball, and he only had 103 pitches. So I wonder if he comes out to try to complete the game. Masahiro Yoshida, he's a good slap hitter. Big sports fan. He's a good slap hitter for the Red Sox. They also had Daisuke Matsuzaka, who was decent, but I think we had Tanaka. I think Tanaka was better. No. Yeah, the Dodgers are up 1-0 on the Brewers right now. Well, I don't know if JT Realmuto would start here because he can still call a game. He can still catch legitimately. So he would be a guy to complement Austin Wells. Yeah. Murakami's another one with from Japan with the power numbers. Yeah, I don't want. Personally, I don't want to give Cam Schluler for anybody. I would agree with that. Mhm. Oh yeah, and we have a lot of young pitchers in the pipeline coming up, right? So Elmer Rodriguez Cruz needs to be protected from Rule 5. Carlos LaGrange also needs to be protected from Rule 5. Spencer Jones, Rule 5. There's a JT Rumfield, Rule 5. There's quite a few of these folks that need to be protected from the Rule 5 draft. And how do you do that? You put them on the 40-man roster. And if you look at the Yankees roster, 40-man, there are some guys on the fringes there that can be taken off and replaced with these guys. There's definitely that. There's definitely that. Hmm. And that's the key, right? Like if they don't get if they lose Bellinger and Grisham, what are they going to do in the outfield, right? They try to get Stephen Kwan here in a trade or Tucker in free agency. Kwan's got 2 years left, so he would come on the relative cheap as it compares to Kyle Tucker. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting these next couple weeks, especially after the playoffs are over, after the World Series are over, then we can kind of digest the season, see, okay, who's who's going to be for real, who's going to accept the QO, who's going to get tendered, who's going to get non-tendered. Like we'll know a week or two after the season's over. So I wouldn't trade Rodon. I wouldn't trade any of my starters except for probably Luis Hill. Mm. He's got a big arm. Hill's got a huge arm. No. Contact his Stephen Kwan, Brendan Donovan. Mm, I don't know which other one's going to be available yet. Mm-hmm. Skeens would probably cost Schlittler and Jones and probably Dominguez or Lombard or something like that. That's what you're going to have to give up. He's going to probably win the Cy Young. So he's just he's on the next level, man, Paul Skeens. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Yankees did offer them Spencer Jones and George Lombard at the deadline for Paul Skeens, and the Pirates said not interested. So they did do that. If Bellinger signs another team, but I would go after him. You're seeing, I would go after him for agency, no doubt. But at least with Grisham, we can give him a qualifying offer. We can get some compensation back if he leaves, and I think he does leave for another team with a 4 or 5 year deal for some good money. He's not going to leave 50, 60 million bucks on the table just to take a QO. He won't do that. If he does, he's nuts. No. Yeah. What would Hill get me? I would use Hill in a trade for relief pitching. Right? I would go after like Reed Detmers from the Angels, lefty reliever, controllable years, something like that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Most contact as we count. Caballero brings more contact. Yes, Rosario is a free agent, but I would be very happy if the Yankees brought him back. Right? I think those guys need to be here to push Volpe. Like we got to find out if Volpe's the real deal or not if he's going to stay here. Yeah. The managers their pitching was ready, man. But again, like maybe they saw the Blue Jays were going to get tired or something like that. A lot of this stuff's about momentum. Hot teams get cold teams get hot. But I know they were confident with their pitching, the Blue Jays, and they did not get frazzled at all when in the Mariners, like with the Blue Jays, George Springer hit that leadoff home run yesterday. Like he didn't get frazzled at all. He just locked in. And they still have Castillo. They've got Ryan Wu, who's back in the NLCS. So and Mike Schilt, yes, he did. The manager of the Padres did step down today. Yes, he did. Smack that like, everybody. Just let us know you're happy to be here. And you're looking forward to some good off-season action. And I'll obviously have somebody live at the winter meetings as well, reporting, giving it to us live time. So that as well we got going on. Mm-hmm. Sandy Alomar Sr., I did see that. Mm-hmm. He was like 84 or something like that. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. Mm-hmm. You can see Cash rolling the dice and letting go of Grisham and Bellinger, hoping he can catch lightning with Spencer Jones and Dominguez now. I don't know that they would go from the two there to these two right off the bat. That would be a big drop off in offensive production, unless they both came out of the gates out of hell, like a bat out of hell, and put forth a couple $1,000 or whatever right now. Mm-mm. Yankees go for contact hitters and same. Yeah, and it's like, who are the contact hitters? Like in free agency, let's broke down. Here are I did a list. Where is it? I have a list that I made up already of the top free agents by position. And like you could tell who is and who's not, kind of thing. Where the hell is it? Do I have it in this book? Here we go. All right. So, first base, Pete Alonso, Josh Naylor, Ryan O'Hearn, Josh Bell, Luis Arias. of those guys, Arias is the pure slap contact guy. Second base, Brandon Lau, Gleyber Torres, Ahmed Rosario, Ozzy Albies, and Willie Castro. Shortstop, Bo Bichette, IKF, Jorge Mateo, Trevor Story, and Hassan Kim. Third base, Alex Bregman, Eugenio Suarez, Luis Urias, Max Muncy, and Kike Hernandez. Left field, Tyler O'Neill, Miguel Andujar, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Austin Hayes, and Jesse Winker. Center field, Harrison Bader, Cody Bellinger, Luis Robert Jr., Trent Grisham, Cedric Mullins. Probably one of the stronger classes here. Right field, Kyle Tucker, Max Kepler, Ramon Laureano, Mike Yastrzemski, and Lane Thomas. So those are basically the position players that are basically the top 5 ranked in each position that are going to be free agents. Yeah, Danny. I don't know. I mean, which of those pitchers catches the Yankees' fancy? I don't know. I mean, they were all over Yamamoto, and they got outbid, so that's what it is, right? Bichette is hurt. He's not on the ALCS roster. This is true. That's a big blow to the Blue Jays. And you could see here, I think he would have been part of these last 2 games. I think he would have been a pretty significant piece. Right? George Springer, no. Springer's not coming to the Yankees. No, huh? Yes, indeed. But that's the key. Like, what did the Yankees go? Did they go soft? Did they go strategic? Did they go hard this offseason? And if they go hard, is it in trades or is it in free agency or is it a balance of both? Like I'm still trying to get a gauge on what the Yankees are really going to do. And they're so tight-lipped about this stuff, you never really know. So that's why I don't go by what like one beat writer says on Twitter. So, I mean, can you imagine they get Bo Bichette and Pete Alonso? Like, you stole one from the Mets, you stole one from the Blue Jays. That would be like a big FU to the fan bases, man. Yankees would be like, yeah, you're shoving your faces. So, it would be crazy. Dodgers are up 2-0 now. They're probably going to win this game. They probably win this game. But I wanted to get your take on this. I really did. Give me I wanted to get a pulse of the room. Because like I said, I'm going to wait until my MLB free agent predictions are done and wait until the end of the season. After the World Series. And I got some other stuff I'll be putting out as well. So we're going to be busy this offseason. Yeah, Alonso, I see Josh Naylor as more of a fit than Pete Alonso. Right? But I'd just rather have Ben Rice there and just upgrade a catcher to complement Austin Wells. I think it'd probably be a better path. Bregman, where would he play? So we have McMahon at third base. We had Jazz at second. He would have nowhere to play. Mm-hmm. We'll see. I mean, trade deadline's not until like the first week in August anyway. So, like up front ahead of us, we have the winter meetings. That's when things kind of get started. It's when the GMs are kind of in the rooms negotiating with other GMs and agents and blah, blah, blah. And there's always breaking news at the winter meetings. Always. Yeah. That's when we reported live last year when the Mets were signing Juan Soto. Mm-hmm. Steele's in the building. What's up, Steele's? What's up, baby? I don't know if the Yankees fans would accept Bregman or a player like Springer or so like those guys. I don't know. You know the fans. The fans threw at Cliff Lee's wife in the stands. At his wife in the stands. So, like, come on. Where would Bregman play? Where would he play? There's not a spot for him on the team. Hmm. Yeah, I would too. Be able to trade draft picks just like they go on like NFL 9, NBA, and make those trades. Yeah, here's my 2025 eighth round pick and blah blah blah. Trade future picks. Yeah, I would like that to be available in Boston or just in baseball altogether. Jeez, Steals. Steals wants to go for the gusto here. Look at that one. Re-sign Bellinger. Bring in Bregman. Real Muto, Kyle Tucker, Pete Alonso, and Josh Naylor and Bichette. Wow. Okay. Trade Warren Wells involved. Yes. He's not playing games. Steals is not playing games. I don't know what I don't know what the prevailing sentiment is in the locker room right now, or in the front office. They don't want to keep Volpe, or they don't want to move him, see a replacement with someone else. I just don't know. Well, that's what I think. One of the things that we'll find out, and obviously, if you see them signing a shortstop or trading for a shortstop, that's a kind of a telltale sign too that either Volpe's going to have surgery or he's not going to be in their future plans. I think smart changes steals. I was mentioning that this is the last year of the CBA. So this might be time to be aggressive in certain areas with the uncertainty coming after the CBA because we don't know what the hell it's going to be like. Right. So it might be time to be aggressive on the trade market more than anything else, especially if you got guys with multiple years. Right. Or for a guy that's going to be free agent after next year, you can get him here and then give him an extension before the freaking potential lockout happens. Like, just get these guys locked down in the books. $80 million coming off the books. The Yankees can maneuver around a little bit. Yeah, they can maneuver around a little bit. Well, Trevor Bauer won Pitcher of the Year in the Mexican League, winning championship. There you go, Trevor. There you go. Draft picks in baseball will not be invaluable. It's like, yeah, there's a chance of a player panning out. Well, there's so many, yeah, Davey. There's so many rounds in baseball, and there's so many layers of the seven. Like the NBA, if you get drafted, you're in the developmental league, and then you come up, right? NFL, you go to college and NFL. So very rarely does something like that happen with a guy like Paul Skeens. It's a lifetime, generational talent. Mm-hmm. One prediction I see, but Yankees doing. I think they're going to trade either Hill or Dominguez for pitching, or both. There it is, sports fan. Mm-hmm. Yeah, start deferring money to yeah. One big name I see happening in a big name to the Yankees. Big name to the Yankees. A big name reliever, maybe two big name relievers. Yeah, I think there's a better than 50% chance of Kyle Tucker. I do. So we'll see if they do that. Yeah, this is true too, Davey. You never know. Jackson Darnsky, yeah, it's a nice little pairing there. So a lot of talent. No, good duo. So Edwin Diaz, I like him, but I'm not comfortable moving Bednar out of the closer spot and accommodating Edwin Diaz. And I don't want to hit him stupid trumpet sounds every time he comes in. No, I really don't. But he's good. There's no denying that. But I just don't want to move Bednar out of the closer spot for Diaz. I think Bednar is locked down the closer here. But again, I like Edwin Diaz. He's good. Yeah. I don't know what the Mets offseason is going to be like yet. I think they bring in a pitcher. Just like I think the Blue Jays bring in a pitcher and the Red Sox bring in a pitcher. Well, it's not going to be cheap here. But teams, I think teams are going to be more strategic this year. Mets get Valdez. I can see that happening. I can also see the Blue Jays getting Valdez. Yeah. I can see the Blue Jays getting him too. But the bullpen, yeah, I mean, like adding 2 really good arms would be a good idea. One via trade, one via free agency, I think. Yep. Brewers have runners on second and third with 1 out. Oh boy, just need the base hit to tie the game. Yeah, bottom next one. That's pretty good. I'm not sure Michael can go to bullpen. I think he could be like the number 5 starter. That's why I would trade somebody like Hill, get some good value back for him. King's got familiarity here already, so he can be long relief for spot start or something like that. So Churio's up nice. Yeah. Yeah. Wait a minute. What did I miss here? Yep. Yeah. 2-1. Okay. Still 1 out. Still 1 out, John K. No, it's 2 outs now. Okay. 2 outs running on third. Base hit, bring him in. Roki Suzuki's pitching too. Tie game? Whoa, really? Did Roki Suzuki blow to save? This Brewers team is not going away, man. This Brewers team is good. If they tie the game. Oh, no. If they tied the game. I still see 2-1. I see 2-1 bottom of the ninth. I see 2-1 bottom of the ninth with 2 outs. A runner on third. I think Volpe is probably going to get surgery. Where are you going to play Bregman? Where are you going to play him? Keep saying Bregman. Where are you going to play the guy? So is it over? The Dodgers win 2-1? Ryan McMahon is playing third base. They traded for him. He stabilized defense here. They're not going to move him for Alex Bregman. Full count. Well, okay. Well, this is the way it should be in playoff baseball here. So why trade Gill? Because we have a surplus of pitching, Brother Bill. And I think he can extract some value back for us. And we need relievers and potentially like a good right-handed bat. and he's one of the people that can help us get it. Could you imagine, man? Like, would you offer him and Dominguez to the Padres for Mason Miller? No, they would not get rid of McMahon for Bregman. I could tell you that now. I know people who work for the Yankees. They will not get rid of McMahon for Bregman. I can tell you that right now. It's not happening. You can call me crazy, but I know that's not happening. Trina's out. They took Roki Sasaki out. Okay. Playoff baseball, man. That's the way it should be. Warren and Dominguez for Mill. I would sign me up for that, Steels. Sign me. I would do that. Warren and Dominguez for Mason Miller. Yeah, I don't think you know about Alex Bregman's Yankee Stadium stats. He bats barely 200 Yankee Stadium. Bats almost 400 at Fenway Park. That's the main reason he signed with the Red Sox. I mean, Judge would probably make him better, like he'd made Soto. I think Tucker. So, I still think we need another bat on top of him too. I wanted Mason Miller a few years ago. I liked that he had like 5 years of control. Yeah. Honestly, I didn't think the A's were going to trade him, Lou. I didn't think the A's were going to trade him. I was surprised they traded him, but they got uh, DeVry, like the number 3 prospect in all of baseball. So, yeah. Now let's see here. Is Treenan done warming up here or what? He is injury prone. I didn't say I wouldn't trade for him. He had some injuries, but he's withstood them too. Yeah, I mean, Sasaki's not like the greatest thing since sliced bread right now. So people said he was going to be the greatest thing since like ever. Come on, Brewers. What the hell did I do? Come on, Brewers. Walk off on these guys. Imagine walk off on the Dodgers. That'd be awesome if they could do that. Let's go, Milwaukee. Oh and 1. I think Murakami becomes a more valid option if the Yankees actually consider trading stolen base, and now basically can score 2 guys and walk it off on the Dodgers. So JJ Weatherhold, don't know who that is. Two, 1 and 2. Oh boy. Ball game, Dodgers win. JJ Weatherhold. From the St. Louis Cardinals. Let me see his stats. He's solid. He's good. I'm not giving up the farm for him. Wait, what? The game is still bases loaded now. Oh my gosh. Let's go, Brewers, man. Let's go, Milwaukee. Let's go, Brewers. Yeah, you playing with people's feelings up in here, man. It's messed up. Wow. Unbelievable. Do I think it could be significant? I can. I mean, I depends on how much they're gonna dig in. Like I think we know at this point there's not going to be a salary cap, right? Um, not going to be salary cap, but I don't know if there's going to be salary floor either. I mean, I don't know what like they generally don't always make big concessions in a new CBA. There's a couple things that change, but like it's never like wholesale change. You know what I mean? No. Yeah, I think the players will, and that's the players and the players union. They're going to reject the cap, right? I think that's definitely going to happen. The the owners want a cap, obviously, but the players union and the agents don't want a cap because they want to keep elevating salaries, right? Commensurate with the amount of revenues that way they bring in and so on and so forth. So, oh, he struck out swinging. Dodgers win 2-1. Wow. Well, let's go Brewers tomorrow, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Well, there's that. So the Blue Jays won. I mean, not the Mariners won and the Dodgers won today. And tomorrow, it's just game two in NLCS, right? And that's being played. Um, that's being played 8:08 tomorrow p.m. in the evening. So I don't know if Volpe's going to play winter ball because I think he's going to probably get surgery. I think he's probably going to get surgery. But I mean, Jason Dominguez should play winter ball and work on hitting from the righty side, work on his defense and stuff, especially since he didn't get a full season of playing time. He should be there developing winter ball and either increasing his chances for the spring next year or increasing his trade value one way or the other. I would definitely deploy Dominguez to winter ball. And that's why I do think Volpe's probably going to get some type of procedure done. And we'll have more clarity soon. So well, this is the thing. Like they learn this stuff, Wink. They should be learning these things in little league, in high school, and college, like small ball, bunting and just squeezes and like all these types of play, all this type of stuff. When do we transition from so much fundamentals to a so much iPad analytics thing, right? I mean, there is a need for analytics, but not at the expense of fundamentals and the human element of the game. It can't be one or the other. It has to be a balance between the two, right? And the fact is, um, Mike Fishman should be at the post-game press conferences with Aaron Boone every game. He should be there answering questions. Hmm. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you can't really learn from a computer. Got to watch the game too. Like, I think some of these players lose a feel for the game. That's why we don't have many Tony Gwynn's, many Edgar Martinez's, right? Um, and yeah, man, it's just not too much of a reliance on it. Too much over reliance on it. So unfortunately, I wish it wasn't the case, but it is. Nothing I can do about it. So we'll see what kind of if there's a different approach next year. You know, Tucker and Belly bring up Jones, put Belly at first. Then what are you gonna do at Rice, Lou? You're gonna dish him, put him at the dish, and then do what with Wells? You're not gonna platoon the two of them. So how you gonna make that work, Lou? Who's gonna trade Wells? That's why I don't think the Yankees are gonna trade one of their catchers. They've traded like 8 catchers in the past 2 years. So that's what I mean. I think it's gonna be very difficult for them to trade their starting catcher. Very difficult. Hmm. Yeah, Dodgers won 2-1. Yep. And tomorrow it's gonna be Yamamoto versus Freddie Peralta. So well that too, Dave. Yeah, for small market team is yeah, captain expansion. They've got to be able to sustain a team that can readily invest in its product and kind of build, right? We can't have teams like the Yankees constantly subsidizing these teams with revenue sharing money. They pay 140 million a year, Yankees, in revenue sharing. 140 million. Insanity, right? Insanity. Yeah. Go where, Steels? Where do you want to send them? All came out and bashed the catcher situation. Cashman's. I'm not sure. I didn't hear that. When did they say that? When did they trash the catch situation? Well, exactly, too, John. Yeah, they got to fix the low market teams before adding more teams. You got that right. Munoz, I don't know if the why would the Mariners trade some of their important cogs when they're one series away from the World Series? Like, why would they do that? Manager, I don't have any problem with the manager now, Reggie. I don't. That's not the change that needs to happen, Reggie. In my opinion, he's not. He's not the first person that needs to go. He's not the name that pops up on the top of my list. Mhm. Probably Joseph, yeah. And now, like I said, we'll get more intel. Like if Judge, if they happen to confirm the Judge needs surgery. That's going to change their calculus for this offseason. No doubt about it. Mm, John Fisher. Wow. John Fisher. Taking us back. All right. Yeah, I feel bad. Like, I like the Montreal Expos when they were there, and they had Pedro Martinez on the team and Randy Johnson in the same team together. Like, oh my God. Wasn't Vlad Guerrero Sr. on the team with them too? Like, whew. Larry Walker, and that was like a ridiculous team. Yankees. If the Yankees are going to get an infielder from the Cardinals, it's going to be Brendan Donovan. Info. Vlad Sr. was there. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. They can even trade for one of their right-handed catchers too. They have young catching depth there, and they have a surplus of catchers. Hmm. Yes, it did destroy the Expos. 94-7. The Expos were in first, so the Yankees. Yeah. Trade for Zach Neto. Who are you going to send the Angels for Zach Neto? Why would the Angels move on from Neto? That's my question. Seeing who would they replace him with? I'd be surprised if Jazz Chisholm gets dealt. I could see the Yankees more likely just moving on from him when his contract is up. Brendan Donovan's the only infielder from the Cardinals I could see the Yankees getting. And he makes sense for the Yankees. He makes sense for the Yankees. Lou, Donovan plays multiple infield positions and the outfield too. So they can move him around. Like he could replace Volpe now at shortstop, and then he can move to second when George Lombard's ready to, and then he can replace Jazz Chisholm at second base and have Lombard at shortstop. And he's got positional versatility, which is good. He moves around the infield. Quell, what would you give them? What would you give the Angels for Neto? I've been talking about Donovan for almost 2 years. Info, almost 2 years. I'm not sure you'd have to give up Hill and Warren. One of them, yes. I wouldn't give up two majorly. I would give him one and like I'd give him Hill and Bryce Cunningham, something like that. Something like that I would do. I think they got to keep one of those guys, unless they plan on signing Michael King, something like that, to be the number 5 starter. And Michael King could be like the best 4 or 5 starter in baseball if he's willing to come back here and he's familiar. I would trade Hill in a heartbeat for Donovan. I would drive him there personally. Long Island support now? I don't know, Davey. That's a good question. It would probably be a Mets team. Long Island, that'd be my guess. I don't know. And in Brooklyn, they had a team in Brooklyn. I want Staten Island. I'm not sure if they're there anymore. Oh, so are they Cyclones still there in A-ball? Okay. I don't know. Depends on how much funding they get and how much support they get. I mean, theoretically, it could be fun. I do like Warren over Hill. He'll be more dependable. We get more innings out of him. Hmm. Yeah, I don't think Jazz. I don't think Jazz is going to move. He's still on the cheap. I can see the Yankees moving on from him after next year, but I'd be surprised if they traded him. He's a 30, also 30-30. So I've been to a Staten Island Yankees game, yeah, back in the day, Wink. But yeah, yeah. I mean, Staten Island commute. It's just a disaster getting to Staten Island commute wise, and it's just oof, it's awful. Yeah, Hudson Valley. Yeah, 30-30 on a cheap salary. They'll deal with his antics. He's a pain in the ass, but he doesn't get in trouble. Well, then we found out more. I mean, the Astros also asked for Dominguez, um, and or Lombard for Tucker. And that's when the Yankees balked and they offered Warren and I forgot who else. And then it kind of fell apart. Exactly, Steals. And there's another Ivan Herrera, right? I think it's Ivan Herrera, the right-handed catcher too from the Cardinals. He's another one I think could be a legitimate option too. His defense, yeah, his defense is mostly the question. Would I trade for Eric Cabrera? Not before I would sign Michael King. I would probably try to sign Michael King first. I like Edward Cabrera, but it really would depend on how much you had to give up for him too. Really, it would really depend. Yeah, but that's what I got for you, gang. So Dodgers won, Mariners won, right? King was traded. He was the deciding piece. He was the piece that the Padres held out for the Yankees to get Soto, and we got him, Soto and Grisham here for King and a bunch of other players. I hope there's no bad blood because I mean, if he's willing to come back, then go Bears, man. How would I fix the bullpen? I would, well, I would do the trade market for now because there's a couple of relievers that we don't know if they're going to be free agents yet. They have options, and we have to see if the options get exercised or if they opt out. But I would try to trade for Reed Detmers. I would probably bring back Devin Williams, if he's willing to pitch the 7th or the 8th. And then obviously, I mean, the first person I would try to trade for would be Mason Miller. I doubt it'll happen, but I would still make the phone call. And I would easily offer them Hill and Dominguez and another player for Mason Miller. Finnegan, maybe. He's been pretty decent with the Tigers. Yeah, Finnegan, you got a bunch of other guys too. Now, Munoz might become available. Edwin Diaz might become available. My list here. Relievers: Edwin Diaz, Ryan Helsley, Devin Williams, Luke Weaver, Kyle Finnegan, Phil Maton, Jose Alvarado, Michael Kopech. Those are like the most notable relievers that we know are going to be available. And you could also add Munoz. You can also add Edwin Diaz if they become free agents. But I would get rid of Dominguez for Mason Miller in a heartbeat. Yeah, we don't need Dominguez. We need Miller more than we need Dominguez. Alvarado was on a PED suspension. Yep. Yep. And again, trading Dominguez to the National League where we don't have to face him, I have no problem with that. Yeah, Steven Matz is another one. Kittredge, yeah. Yeah, I generally kept these lists to like 5 or 6, but you can go on, further down the line. Well, these are some of the top picks here. Okamoto. Hang on. You're talking about Kazuma Okamoto, at first base third, but he's like essentially a more affordable version of Munetaka Murakami. He bats righty also. 322 hitter, 411 on base, 582 slugging, 992 OPS, 15 homers, 51 ribbies, 23 doubles this past year. So he's got a pretty solid contact bat. And like I said, he bats from the righty side. Again, if he could be a bench player too. Like, would you take him over Oswaldo Cabrera and making it easier to trade in Oswaldo Cabrera? You can add Oswaldo Cabrera to one of these trades. Who's in the outfield if not Dominguez? You'll have, if Bellinger comes back, you'll have Bellinger, you have Judge, and then Spencer Jones. He's a mile ahead of Dominguez in the outfield defensively. GM, yeah, imagine that you're seeing. So, I don't know. But this, yeah, would give the Yankees a contact bat. And a lot of these offensive players from Japan are fundamentally sound contact guys. So, but yeah, I think if they lose Bellinger and Grisham, then they're going to go hard after Tucker. So you want them to go after Murakami, Okamoto, and Imai? Imagine that. Like, this is a good Okamoto, and like if we want to get a contact back for the outfield, then I'd be looking at trading for Stephen Kwan if I could. Good contact bat, good on base, good speed, good defense. He's a guy I would look at. Right, Brendan Donovan for the infield contact bat. I've been talking about him for 2 years. Yeah, Chocolate. It's going to come down to who's got the most talent. I mean, that's going to be a good series, Dodgers Brewers. It's going to be a good series. But Quan would be, yeah, steals, and you put him right at the leadoff spot, baby, right at the leadoff spot. Like, man. Mm-hmm. And even if you kept Dominguez at that point, you could bet Dominguez second if you wanted to. Have two speedy guys at 1 and 2, and then you could bet Judge third, and then kind of go boom, boom, boom after that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Joseph. Like, the Yankees could, if they wanted a Brendan Donovan or something like that, they could trade arms for him. If they wanted Donovan and maybe try to get that catcher, Von Herrera, they could give arms for them. Yankees, they do have the pitching depth to facilitate a trade of need. Joseph, 100%, man. Hein Bloom is right, man. Yeah. I'm not giving Cam Schlittler, but Luis Hill, no problem. He's a hard thrower, and they'll work on his control. Yeah, Oakland, like, yeah. Just unfortunately, unfortunate sports town there. Unfortunate. Oh yeah. But that's something to keep look out for too, Joseph. Time Bloom, like Cardinals, can the Yankees, facilitate a trade with the Cardinals? Can they address multiple needs in one trade? Right? And if they do that, that's a good thing too. I mean, Donovan's got 2 years of arbitration left. So I think so too. I think Weatherholt's, yeah, I think he can replace Donovan now. And Arenado's going to be the expensive player. That obviously they want to move on from him. So what team's going to want to assume that contract? The Cardinals going to have to eat a ton of it. I, could be Angel. Good relief pitchers there. Could be. When's that Mason win? Is that Mason win? Let's see. The young, the shortstop for the Cardinals. Would they do that? Would they do that? He's 23 years old. And he's got tons of controllable years left. I mean, that's an appealing trade. Donovan and win. And would you give him? They want to extend Mason Win, so it would make it even harder. But I would go for Donovan by himself, or Donovan and Jojo Romero, or Donovan and Ivan Herrera. Like, you can get a secondary piece to go up Donovan if you can't get a guy like Wynn. But if they did trade for a guy like Wynn, that's a telltale sign that they're going to move on from Anthony Volpe. Most likely non-tendered. But we'll get more clarity in the next couple of weeks in terms of if Judge needs surgery, if Volpe needs surgery, and what goes beyond that. And this is going to be the fascinating part of the Yankees offseason. It really is. And it's why I didn't like anytime, and I check multiple times a day. Got people working on the inside that feed me in with stuff as it comes in too. So I'm keeping, the candle burning on all the fronts right now. Yeah, Volpe and Wells are starting their arbitration years. They have 3 arbitration years. I think actually Wells he might have one more pre-arb year, if I'm not mistaken, Chocolate. Let's see. Yep. He's got 4 years left. Volpe has 3. Wells has 4. And we'll see if Volpe gets a shoulder on his left shoulder. I mean, surgery on his left shoulder. Yeah, we will definitely see, Joseph. We'll see. I'm just keeping my eye on that one guy. St. Louis, that one guy. Get something of value beyond, in addition to him, okay. But that one guy is a good fit for the Yankees. He's a good fit. We'll see if that actually happens. You know what I mean? So, but go have a great night, everybody. I'm gonna go relax. Get up and train in the morning. Another day of work tomorrow. We'll be back. Any news that comes out. No, the Yankees can't stay quiet this up. They can't. They can't. They've got to be smart. They've got to be strategic. Like, they do have the most money coming off the books from any other team, so it'll be wise for them to consider spending some of it. And again, like, the Mets made the biggest free agent splash last year. The Dodgers made it the year before, so the Yankees haven't made the biggest free agent splash in a while. Tucker would represent that. Could they make the biggest free agent splash and the biggest trade? They could do both. Then that'd be a nice offseason for the Yankees. And anything beyond that would be gravy. So think about that. We'll continue talking about this. So have a great night, everybody. Peace and love to all ears. Smack that like button if you haven't done that yet. Tell your friends about us. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.